The title of this video is 5 tips to start being creative. We are all inherently creative, and my logic is that every single one of us, in a spiritual sense, or whatever you want to believe, a human experience sense, has a connection to source and consciousness. So when we're quiet and we look within ourselves, we have a stream of thought and we can listen for what the universe has to say to us. So maybe the universe tells you that you want to paint and express yourself in a certain way. Maybe the universe tells you that you want to sing and express yourself in a certain way, or make a rad skateboarding video to express yourself in a certain way. With that being said, I think that our society has conditioned us into suppressing non-productive creativity. So while art is a big part of the culture, I think that finding artistic support for one's inner artist can be difficult in a world that values capital over creative wellness. So I decided to make this video with some takeaways from my process of being alive, making some things that I will probably edit into this video, and identifying as an artist. With all that being said, here are 5 tips to start in quotations being creative, because everyone is already creative. Tip number 1, accept that failure is a part of the process. I read or heard somewhere once that when you start as an artist or at anything, you have your taste, which is the type and quality of art that you like as a consumer. So maybe you like really great music, maybe you like really great painting, or really great skateboarding, or really great cooking. It's just what you like to consume, which is informed by the type it is and how good it is. And typically, like, if you're really passionate about something, you will gravitate towards things that demonstrate a lot of skill at the craft. So that's your taste. And then you also have your ability, which is your capacity to actually make the type of art that you're trying to make, or make the type of thing that you're trying to make. So if you try and make a painting, like, that is measured by your ability. It'll be informed by your ability. And your ability is made up of your experiences, technical skill, and practice. So when you start making art, your ability might not immediately line up with your tastes, and that is okay. Closing that gap is a really, great part of the creative process. It will be discouraging. I have definitely been discouraged by things that I made and that did not line up with where I wanted them to be at, but it's all part of the process. So just having faith that you will get better at the things that you put your time into. I think that's a very existential thing, is that we get better at the things that we do, and we get better at what we spend time doing. So just having faith that you will eventually make something that you're really proud of is really key. Tip number 2, take your time, but finish things that are meant to be finished. So I think a good key to being creative, and a good flow to have, at least for me, is to ask myself what I want to make it, and then actually make it, all the way make it until it is finished and you can let it go. It doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to rise to your taste. It doesn't have to be mind-bendingly good. This gets you used to finishing something, and also gives you a body of work to improve upon and develop. By finishing things, you develop your style. Your creation becomes separate from yourself, and you gain an objectivity that you would otherwise not have. Tip number 3, balance working with what you have versus investing in yourself. So what I mean by this is that you don't necessarily need all of the fanciest gear in order to make the things that you want to make. However, you do need some gear to make, typically you do need some gear to make beginner quality content. And as you progress, you may need more gear in order to make the quality content, or make the quality art, or make the quality whatever that you're trying to make. So that's why I'm saying it's a balance. You can, I think that there is a lot of value in working with limitations, and just working with what you have in order to make your vision come true. And I think some artists would really speak that limitations create really good art, because they drive all, there's less decisions to make, it's just how to create. And at the same time, investing in yourself is always a good idea. And it's just holding that balance. Tip number 4, consistency. Consistent mindfulness practices, consistent technical practice, and consistent reflective practices are general things that I believe will lead to growth no matter what. With mindfulness, I'm thinking like meditation, yoga type stuff. Some sort of self-care to practice being grounded really helps with living and will also help with creativity, because I think that some of our best ideas come to us when we're really truly grounded and calm and reflective. And then there's technical practice, which is whatever you want to get good at. So if you're trying to become creative at painting and you're like, I want to make a painting, then you're going to have to spend time painting. It requires hours. If you want to get really good at skateboarding, you got to spend a lot of hours trying to get good at skateboarding. If you want to get really good at making music, you got to be in the booth making music. And I think that's just kind of like one of the rules. It's not necessarily a rule. Like, you don't need to spend like a bunch of hours to make something good, but I think as a general kind of thing, putting in hours is a good way to get results at things. Reflective practice, kind of related to 1 and 2, which is just having some time to kind of sit with the art that you've made and decide how you feel about it and how you want to develop as an artist. 5 is consistency, but a little bit more complex. And this point is just kind of a little bit of a contradiction to point 4, because I don't personally believe that you can always be on the grind no matter what. I think sometimes life is just going to throw you something that is going to require your full presence, and that is completely okay. And I think that's a normal part of the human experience. And I think that art can really come from anywhere, and we always draw from our experiences. So whether we're taking a long break, whether we're doing something that requires our full presence, we can always choose to look within ourselves and decide that we want to create again. And when we are there, creativity will welcome us back and ask us what we have learned in our time away. So those are the 5 tips for being more creative, starting to be creative, whatever you want to call it. And these are just my thoughts, and to be honest, I've just been feeling called to make a YouTube video, so this is me trying to follow through on those tips by just making something and finishing it and then putting it out. So grateful to be on this artistic journey here on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Comment vegetable if you get to this point in the video.